Hi guys, I'm Shmee. Good morning, welcome back to the channel and welcome to a day where I'm going to be hitting the road in the Bentayga, heading all the way back from here in Frankfurt to London. But first, I have some pretty good news. Yep, you've got it. The Mercedes AMG GT R is about to drop. The big reveal this Saturday, the 4th of November. It will be at 2 p.m, 1400 hours UK times, add an hour in Europe, earlier in the morning in the US. But if the number of questions that you guys send me about the GT R is anything to go by, then I think the Beast of the Green Hell is a pretty long-awaited supercar. I can't wait for it and the plans I've got with that thing, and I can't wait to show it to you guys with some pretty awesome reveal content that we've got planned and coming right up. So that is why I'm heading back home. I'm going to be heading again in the Bentayga Black Spec to return the car. I drove it out here, had quite a long journey out actually, so let's hope, fingers crossed, it's a little bit quicker today. But we took it to Ikea, multiple times to Ikea, used it to move house, and right now I'm actually at my old flat, but we've moved out of here now. We're moving purely into the new one when I get back to Germany after I've picked up the GTR. So the next few days are going to be all about the AMG GTR. The reveal content I think you're going to love. We've got some big plans, so make sure you come back when that first video drops. I'm looking forward to sharing it with you guys because I think you've been as much part of this adventure as I have, and that car is going to be one I use for everything I think going forward. It is just the perfect grand touring supercar track day mountain road single machine that you can imagine, and maybe we'll be doing some fun stuff with it too. But for now, let me spend the rest of this video with the Bentayga because that is how my day is going to go today. It's about, as we know, 9-10 hours to get from here in Frankfurt back to London across the Eurotunnel, and the Bentayga Black Specification is a pretty good way to do it. Comfortable, luxurious. I've got no luggage, just an overnight bag, so there's nothing special to show you there, but I'm going to be relaxing, getting the seat massages running naturally. I think my back needs it after all of the boxes that I've been carrying and the flat pack we've been building. But Bentayga Black Spec in candy red, we're ready for the journey. I'm going to jump in. The exhaust, by the way, as it's done some mileage, is getting awesome. Remember, it started with just 97 miles on the clock. Now it's got over 1,000 kilometers. If I come and step in, slightly narrow gap, puddle light, love it. Although I don't think it has those puddle lights on the passenger side, only the driver's side, which is interesting. But if I just start this up, listen to it. Start button in the center console. It's just that deep growl back there. Anyway, it is journey time, like I said. Got a long day on the roads today. Let's shut the music up. I love that headlight. It knows that you're in the other side of the on the other side of the road, or in a country that drives the other way around, and it adapts in advance. So this is going to be my home for the next, well, the whole of today, back towards London. One thing I am massively pleased about is it being the last time I have to get the Bentayga out of this garage. As you can hear from the parking sensors, it is incredibly tight in here. Just pure beeps still. Okay, there we go, we're away from the noise, but I have to do this crazy shuffling forwards and backwards maneuver to actually work out how to get this car out, he says. I put it in neutral by mistake, but we've got to get it round the corner, so, like this. And by the way, that scooter in front, that is not mine. Everybody seems to think I have bought an electric scooter, but no, I don't know whose that is or what the story was with it being sat in that parking space. But back round here we go. It's a crazy adventure. It's actually significantly harder getting this car out of this garage than even the McLaren was, I think. But that's just the all-round size of it. It's a huge thing. And by the way, I'm sure somebody by now is going to ask about it in the comments, about my eye, which is looking rather suspicious. It's a bit swollen up. I had a sty, which you've probably seen recently. Now I think I have a chalazion or something, but I've been to doctors, and I will go to doctors again. I think it comes from tiredness, basically, which is not surprising over the last few days. Goodness me, this is tight. Okay, out of the first stage. Now we do the second stage. This is pure garage carnage. Get out. Nope. You can see why I'm pleased I'm not going to be doing this again. Just to get out of a garage. Oh, we're very tight on the left. Okay, made it, just. And we're free, so I can head off, find some autobahns, destination, Eurotunnel, then London. Woo, on the way. One of my favourite things about Frankfurt, now that I've been based here for 2 months, loosely based here I should say, is the traffic or lack of it. Very few people actually seem to drive, which means if you want to go out and enjoy a car, you rarely sit in a traffic jam. And right now it's about 8:30 in the morning, yet there isn't a huge swarm of cars everywhere that's going to make it take an hour to actually get anywhere. And you get from the centre of the city to the Autobahn in about 10 minutes. It's not a big city at all. In fact, the population of Frankfurt is actually only about 700,000, which makes it really rather small when you consider London's like 9 million or something. So it's got this big city feel, but still is actually quite a small city. I like it, it's nice. Now this is my kind of Autobahn. Just take a look ahead, you know, it's smooth, it's not very busy, it's easy, and I'm cruising at the moment at 200 kilometers an hour. That's 124 odd miles per hour, just, you know, gentle flowing speed. The car in front's doing about the same. This car does it effortlessly, calmly and quietly, but it is still being run in. It's not reached the full run in, which means I can't floor it. I can only use about half throttle, I can't use kick down, I can't really go up to the top of the rev range and use the full rev, so I can just let it carry its momentum, and by word it does that. It's obviously quite a heavy car, but when you lift off it basically keeps going at the same speed, because there's such this charge barreling down the Autobahn, which, by the way, I know I've talked about it a lot. Autobahns, you don't necessarily need to be doing a VMAX front. You can also just enjoy the fact that drivers are aware of what's going on. Everyone's looking and monitoring around them. Then you have, so the lane discipline, you know, in front is brilliant. The guy just moves straight over, which is, you would never see that in the UK. Then you have this lovely smooth tarmac, super great, super clear sight lines down the road, just all round great roads to drive on. So you get a long distance very, very efficiently and effectively, keeping the speed above 200. We barely dropped under 200 at all in this clip of the video, which just makes it so easy to travel so far. And I've knocked off already 7 minutes from my journey, and I'm only, what, about half an hour in? And the end of the Autobahn, because this is the Netherlands now. So we're in the Netherlands. I always find it interesting which of the many different routes the navigation decides to take me, but it's going to be a much slower journey from now. It already just got a whole lot quieter. Oh, my voice is going here, but gentle cruise so far. I'm still, what am I, 15 minutes or so ahead of my arrival time, even with a small bit of traffic and a fill up, so that's pretty solid, I'd say. I'm way ahead of when I need to be at the Eurotunnel, but I don't know, well, yes, I've got to have Belgium somewhere, so whichever route I'm taking is a bit of Netherlands now, and then a bit of Belgium later on before France. Anyway, back up to a little bit more speed I think from now, but hopefully I have a clear run the whole way through. Ah, here we go then, crossing the bridge and the border into Belgium, third country of the day. So I do 5 countries today, which is always fun. On this drive that continues to be completely smooth, crossing through the Netherlands was no issue at all, which is nice. Let's hope that Belgium is traffic free. That's quite unusual, but it's still early in the morning, so fingers crossed. Guess what? Belgium's doing what Belgium does best, traffic jams. I've just had Waze telling me I've got 8 minutes of jam in front of me going around. I guess I must be at the Brussels Ring Road now. But, again, never a journey goes by without a big traffic jam in Belgium. Just seems to be the way. I don't know why. And into France. So the final country that isn't my home country of the day. But Belgium, to be honest, has been reasonably decent today. Not too horrendous. And I'm actually still running 10 minutes ahead of the original arrival time at the Eurotunnel when I left from Frankfurt this morning. So far so good. I've had a grand total of about maybe 5 or 6 minutes out of the car when I did my petrol station stop. But hey ho, making good progress, so I can't complain about anything. And here we are then, the arrival at Tunnel sous la Manche being the French word for the channel. And I'm hoping there's not much of a queue here, and I can't see anybody in front of me, which is a very good sign. Yep, looks empty. So you come over this bridge, which is always quite cool. Now, fingers crossed, I can get an early train, because I am over 2 hours. I'm 2.25 hours early for my train. 2.25 hours. I've probably never done that before. Normally I turn up late and get pushed to or bump back a train or two, but I can see some ticket booths that have no people in them, so fingers crossed. It's the moment of truth, so press to check in. It's gonna need my credit card. Get that out quickly. Please wait. It doesn't know my card because I'm in a different car. I originally made this booking to come over in a different car to the Bentayga, so take the card back, get rid of that. Is it going to give me an earlier one? Yep, that's me. Ow. Whoops. Confirm. Searching for the best departure times. We can come half an hour earlier. Okay, well, that's something. We good? Hey. Maybe I'll sneak and try and get even earlier if I can. W12 startup is always fun, so it's actually quite busy to get through passport control. Oh dear. Yeah, those are nice. M2 and M3 in the car park. Let's park nearby. And a Vanquish S just pulled in too. That is very nice. It's got red accents around the bottom. Super cool. In we go again then. Only a couple of days since I last did this. Very familiar. And we emerge back onto British soil. Okay then, so it's about 2 hours as always from here to London. And this evening I've actually got a few things I need to do. Number one, I've decided that I need to go to a hospital and get my eye looked at because it's not good. Behind the scenes, you don't normally see me doing that kind of thing. But also this evening, you might have seen from social media when this video goes out, I'm heading, hopefully if I get back in time, to the premiere of the Ferrari Race to Immortality movie. So I'll be able to let you know a little bit more about that when I've seen it, in theory. But for now, on we go. I've put the car back into miles per hour and miles instead of kilometers. It's quite a nice day here in England. Yes, in towards London. With the sun starting to set, the end of the afternoon and the end of a long drive, although I still have quite a bit to get into London. It's one of the worst things about coming back to London is how long it takes to get into the middle on city streets. But I wanted to talk a little bit more about the Bentayga, and it now has 1,111 miles on the clock exactly, which means I've done just over 1,000 miles in this car, and in doing so I've become fairly familiar with it and learnt it even more than I had on my previous outings. And there are a couple of things that I think are brilliant about this car. The first is Bentley's dynamic ride control. So the car has a battery set up just controlling the suspension system and analysing and making sure the ride is as good as possible and controlling the dampers so that it really has a surprisingly sporty feel for a 2.3 ton SUV that is over 5 meters long. That I think really works very well. The other is the fuel economy. So on a long run, I've been putting about 75 litres in each fill up, but that last tank was just shy of 400 miles. I did 385 miles, I think, on a single tank, which is a lot, an awful lot. And that included stretches at, 125 miles per hour odd on the Autobahn. So fair play to the car for that. There is the tri-turbocharged diesel version, which would save you about, I think, £25,000 list price, maybe 26,000, that sort of amount. But the triple turbo setup has so much torque that potentially, if you didn't want the W12, you go that route. For me though, that gentle grumble in the background of the W12 is so nice. It's such a powerful, beastly sound enclosed in a car that is luxurious and comfortable. And I mean, I've just been driving it basically in the Bentley mode. You've also got comfort mode. And the other end, you've got sport mode. You can customize it. And then you've got all sorts of off-roading modes, as I've demonstrated and experienced before. But for this kind of drive, I mean, yeah, maybe I didn't today need something quite so big, but what we've used it for over the weekend has really... Oh, listen to that. The background noise. as you lift off the brake to stop start in a W12 is already a bit crazy. But yeah, what I was saying, what we've used this for has completely, I think, hit the nail on the head. Long distance, comfortable, carrying stuff around. It can serve that workhorse kind of purpose in a garage alongside supercars. It's that kind of car. It might not necessarily be somebody's only car given the size, but it's a very nice addition to a garage. Anyway, onwards, back towards the city centre, and let's take it from there. I made it home, had to leave almost immediately to get to the movie theatre where I am now, and I've joined Benzine.
Hello.
And we're here, and as Ben just pointed out, I'm not using my handy cam because it wasn't going to be the right kind of look to walk into a movie premiere with a handy cam.
Quick way to get yourself thrown out.
Yeah, so we're not doing that, but just come through a little bit. Ferrari Race to Immortality. We will go in and see what this is like. Contrary to intentions, you actually join me now the following morning. So after the movie, I went to an eye hospital only to find out it was going to be a 4-hour wait to see a doctor. And I had an early start today, so I decided to go home, have some rest, and passed out straight away without even shooting an outro to the video. I mean, it was a pretty long drive. It's a comfortable car to do it in, but I was completely spent after the weekend. The Ikea trips, transporting loads of luggage, just generally moving and dealing with so much stuff in such a short period of time. But a few words actually on the movie, on Ferrari Race to Immortality. There was a fascinating emotional look at the 1950s period of motorsport, which was hugely significant, and unfortunately a couple of fatalities, but that's what the story followed with Enzo Ferrari and really documented something I didn't actually know too much about before in a brilliant way. So I really enjoyed that. The car itself has done a wonderful job over the last few days. The Bentayga black specification I have very much enjoyed, but today, unfortunately, it's going to be returning to Bentley, so I'm going to be having to say the usual farewell to this beast. For this kind of purpose, it's interesting to see how practical the car can be with some of those extra features, like the ability to lower the suspension. And you might see some of those things in other cars, but it combines Bentley's traditional elegance, styling, interior quality, finish, fitment and features in a car that drives in a better way than you think. And I've thought that every time that I've driven it. The biggest con for me is the price tag. It's a very expensive car. This specification, clearly nearly £230,000, is quite a price tag for what it is, but the W12 sounds amazing. I think it looks pretty cool. I know there will be a lot of comments about the Audi Q7. Obviously, it's the same company, sister company, so they're part sharing in terms of development. But I've enjoyed it. I hope you've enjoyed this look through the videos. A big thanks goes to Bentley for borrowing the car, for allowing me to take it on this journey. I hope you've enjoyed the content. That's it for now, though. I'll catch up with you again very soon. Cheers.